He told us that day, he told us to watch what's going to happen to your boyfriend. We both, I guess, just underestimated him.
This is Love Hurts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for future content. 23-year-old Zaria Mckeever had a heart of gold. She was intelligent, beautiful, kind-hearted, and always had a smile on her face. She would light up any room she walked in. She was in school for cosmetology, and she was also a very skilled makeup artist. Zaria was also a mother to a 1-year-old baby girl. She loved being a mom. She was born to be a mom. Her family states she knew she would be a mom before she ever got pregnant. She absolutely loved her baby girl. Now, the baby father, that was a different story. Zaria was in a relationship with 22-year-old Eric Haynes. The two started out strong, but shortly after the birth of their daughter, things went sour. Zaria had goals and dreams in life. She wanted to become somebody. She wanted her daughter to be proud of her, and Eric was definitely holding her back. So shortly after the birth of the couple's daughter, she ended the relationship. After the relationship ended, Eric began to show concerning behavior. He started stalking Zaria. He was threatening her almost daily, especially when he learned she was dating somebody new. According to court records, Eric was following her. He also had 2 of his friends, a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, following her around her apartment complex. Things were just gradually getting worse and worse. Unfortunately, nobody thought it would reach the ultimate level that it did on November 8th of 2022.
A life taken too soon. A 23-year-old Brooklyn Park woman shot and killed over what her loved ones say was an act of pure jealousy and hate. Investigators say the ex-boyfriend of 23-year-old Zarya McKeever recruited 2 teenagers to help him beat up McKeever's boyfriend. Instead, McKeever ended up shot and killed. 22-year-old Eric Haynes of Brooklyn Park is charged with second-degree murder. According to the criminal complaint, Haynes had been threatening and harassing the victim for weeks leading up to her death. McKeever was shot and killed during the early morning hours on Tuesday at the Eden Park apartment complex. According to the criminal complaint, 2 teens had broken into an apartment where McKeever and her boyfriend were staying. The boyfriend jumped out of a second-story window to call 911. When police arrived, they found McKeever lying on the floor with a bullet wound to her lower abdomen. The medical examiner says she died of multiple gunshot wounds. The victim's ex-boyfriend admitted to buying the gun and giving it to one of the teens who fired the fatal shots, then helping the teens flee the scene.
Pure evil and jealousy, that's what led to it.
Tiffany Epps says Monday was a typical day, with one exception.
Me and my sister went somewhere, and her child's father was following us.
It was just after 2:30 on Tuesday morning that Brooklyn Park officers were dispatched to these apartments on a possible home invasion. When they arrived, they found 23-year-old Zarya McKeever shot multiple times.
Police say this man, 23-year-old Eric Haynes, McKeever's ex, had been harassing and following her for weeks.
She was better in her life, and she knew that he was a downfall, and he was, part of the reason why things were going the way they were for her.
Police say Haynes admitted to buying a gun and giving it to 2 teenagers. He told them to break in and beat up the victim's new boyfriend while he waited in the car.
So you found someone that was dumber than you, and you had them do this. Now all you guys' life are ruined. You guys ruined our lives, took her away from us and her daughter. It's crazy. All for what?
It's unclear why her sister was the one killed, but Epps has a theory.
Knowing her, she thought she could defuse the situation because she knew the guys. They were her baby dad's friends.
Epps is hoping her sister's story saves someone else.
If you see signs, if you notice things, if you get vibes about people, start calling police and making reports and protect yourself by any means, because you never know what could happen.
Originally, the police charged Eric with second-degree murder, and authorities were in the process of charging the 2 juveniles as adults. But in the most devastating move possible, the county attorney offered the 2 teens a plea deal that would offer them less than 2 years in jail, juvenile jail, for what they did. I just really feel like the county attorney was trying to play in Zarya's family's face. There is no way these two boys should be out walking the street in less than 2 years. Zarya's family was livid, rightfully so. They went directly to the mayor, and after a few weeks of back and forth, finally the mayor did decide to reassign the case to the attorney general, and those juveniles will be tried as adults. Well, at least one of the juveniles. The 17-year-old juvenile in this case had already signed his plea deal, but the 15-year-old, the one that's known as the trigger man, he will be tried as an adult.
My sister knew them.
Zaria Mckeever's family believe justice has not been served.
When you're in a place where there's no truth, how can you get justice?
They claim inconsistencies in testimony by the teens connected to the killing of their 23-year-old daughter is enough to try them as adults.
With all the evidence that they have and everything, I can't even believe that they're offered a plea at all. They need to go after the killer and also the mastermind behind the plan and everyone else that's of age that was aiding and abetting as well.
Attorney General Keith Ellison's office will take over the murder case of Zaria Mckeever.
The case recently turned controversial after the Hennepin County attorney declined to charge 2 teenagers accused in the murder as adults. Governor Walz then decided to sign off on reassigning the case.
Danny Spiewak spoke with Mckeever's family tonight about this huge decision.
So I'm looking at my phone, it rings, I'm like, hello?
Tiffany Epps got a call Thursday from someone named Tim.
Tim who? Tim Walz. I'm like, oh, Tim Walz, the governor? I'm like, Mom, it's Tim Walz.
Governor Walz informed Epps that the murder of her sister Zaria McKeever will now be prosecuted by Attorney General Keith Ellison rather than Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty.
Zaria can finally get some justice.
McKeever's family was outraged by Moriarty's decision last month.
We want justice!
To offer plea deals to 2 teenage brothers carrying 2-year sentences in a juvenile facility if they testified against McKeever's ex-boyfriend, Eric Haynes. According to a criminal complaint, Haynes drove the 15-year-old and 17-year-old to McKeever's house last November and gave them the murder weapon, but the teenagers kicked down her door and the 15-year-old allegedly fired the shots. Ellison says he deserves the case because Moriarty's office acted, quote, so far outside the normal course for the prosecution of such a heinous crime.
Now everything should happen the way it's supposed to happen.
Ellison acknowledges that it is probably too late to change the plea deal for the 17-year-old, but the 15-year-old's case is ongoing. None of it will bring back McKeever.
She should be here.
On July 21st of 2023, authorities did upgrade Eric's charges from second-degree murder to first-degree murder, and they also charged him with intentional second-degree murder.
For the family of Zarya McKeever, the last 8 months have been filled with grief and frustration, but now they see a glimmer of hope.
This is another step for justice for us, and it's a long time coming, but we're thankful that it has arrived, even if it's taken a while.
McKeever's ex-boyfriend, Eric Haynes, had been charged with second-degree murder for being the alleged mastermind behind her death. Now a grand jury has indicted him on 2 counts of first-degree murder, including 1 for premeditation, along with 1 count of second-degree murder with intent.
We agree it should have been that from the beginning with all the evidence that they had. It was all premeditated. It was planned out. So he got what he deserved.
We're thankful. We appreciate what's been done at this point. And we have every hope that, this process is going to continue for justice for Zaria.
Maury Glover, Fox 9.
This case is still making its way through the court system, so I'm hopeful that Zaria's family will get the justice that they deserve. This case is just so sad, and it should have never happened. Wanting to move on from a relationship should never cost you your life. My heart goes out to Zaria's family, friends, and loved ones. If you are experiencing domestic violence in your relationship, please get out. Use the quickest, safest way possible and do not turn back. Turning back can cost you your life. Stay safe, loves, and don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, and hit that notification bell for future content.